It's time for the Kim Hammer Show, where you'll learn how your state government affects you, your family, and community. Here's Kim Hammer.
Hey, great Saturday to you. Hope that you're enjoying a great day after a very wet week, but it's dry in studio today. We've got a really good show lined up for you today about a great community event for Central Arkansas, or for all of Arkansas for that matter. You can come from wherever. We got them coming from out of state, and I'll let Jason talk about that in a minute, about the Wings Over Bryant Airshow. Is that right?
That's right. Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. And then we have Mark Brimmer, who is the Vice President of Operations for Falcon Jet, in studio today because you're one of the main sponsors for Wings Over Bryant. So we're going to have a conversation about aviation in the state of Arkansas. We're going to talk about the Wings Over Bryant that's going to be coming up. And Jason, I'll let you get all the details on that in just a second. And the last 15 minutes of the show today, I'm going to have Daniel Shults back on. He's going to update us because a couple of weeks ago I had him and Leslie on from Secretary of State's office. We talked about the election results, and then after that show, one or two things bubbled up, but that all has been laid to rest, or close to being laid to rest. So I'm going to get them on the show just to kind of update us on where we are, because one thing we want to do is just make sure that voters know that there is voting integrity in the state of Arkansas. Always going to be something to work on, but for where we are right now, you can feel good about the election results as we get ready to move on and look toward the fall, and know that we're going to go into the fall elections with a good, solid integrity with regards to protecting the vote. But right now, let's talk about Wings Over Bryant. So, Jason, you're our president of the Bryant Chamber of Commerce. This is the second year for Wings Over Bryant, correct?
Yes, sir. It sure is.
Well, tell about last year and give us some of the experiences from last year's. Some of the acts that you had in. Talk about the numbers and just kind of reflect a little bit.
Sure. So last year we had Team Airshow, which was one of the number one acts across the country. One of everybody's favorite acts is Aftershock Jet Truck. Everybody just loves seeing that jet truck come. And we had about 25,000 people at the show last year.
Yeah, if they didn't see it coming,
they heard it.
They heard it and they felt it coming, because that thing vibrated your ground.
That's right.
And they're coming back this year?
They are. We've got three returners because they're the crowd favorites from last year. It's Stephen Covington. He flew that green biplane that raced Aftershock Jet Truck. We got Aftershock coming back, and we got Airshow coming back. The rest of everybody else is new.
Okay. So who are some of the new ones?
So we have the top female aerobatic pilot in the world coming. Her name is Melissa Burns. What's cool about her is she is a true adrenaline junkie. She does, I call it the put on a flying squirrel shoot, where she jumps off the sides of a mountain and, flies down and all that kind of stuff. She does all that stuff. She's insane. She makes that plane tumble end over end. She actually teaches aerobatics. We've got Nate Hammond from Ghost Riders Air Shows coming. He's got 250 pounds of pyro in his plane. So Friday night, he will light the skies up. It'll be impressive. It'll be very impressive.
It'd be like a hot dog on a cooker that you hope everything goes right. Otherwise, you're going to be blown up, man.
Right. Well, he's pretty good at what he does.
So these acts are coming from where?
All over the country.
Okay. All right. I think that's one of the impressive things to know is the people that have the acts, they've started reaching out to you.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's a sign, and by all means, Mark, you're in the aviation, jump in on the conversation. We're going to talk about Falcon here in a little bit, but jump in on this at any point. But that, to me, has been the impressive thing about this, is when people start calling an entity, an organization, and saying, hey, can we be part of it? I kind of think that's the brand of success, that you're starting to attract people that want to get into the show.
Yeah, it was pretty cool last year because of all of our marketing and our branding and all that kind of stuff. People have been in business for 40 years, in the airshow business. They said they've never seen anything like this. And it was kind of a personal goal of mine, because we were told we were going to have about 10,000 people from the guy who helps them do this, and I was like, yeah, we're going to double that at least, and we did. So that was my goal.
All right. So let's get some details out of the way, and we'll repeat this throughout the show, and I'll put it up on my website, which is thekimhammershow.com. Thekimhammershow.com. You can go up there and information will be posted up. But what, you guys got a website or something that people go to, so what is it?
It's wingsoverbryant.com.
Okay, wingsoverbryant.com.
And Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. we do it all. We try to get the word out for our partners.
All right. And let's bring in Mark at this time, because Mark, you guys are playing a significant role in Wings Over Bryant this year. What are y'all doing?
We're really happy to be partnering with what Jason has started and Chamber has started out in Bryant. It's an amazing way to reach the community. And what we're doing, we're partnering with them to sponsor free general admission for kids under 12. We deemed them the Falcon Kids. And this is great because it inspires aviation at a young age. And not just the young kids, but the parents that are coming, the grandparents, everybody that's going to be out there. And aerospace and defense in the state of Arkansas is a big thing. You know, there's over 12,000 jobs in the state of Arkansas. We have over 200 companies, aerospace and defense companies in the state of Arkansas. So we want to reach out to the kids, the community. It's great for the community. It's great for aerospace and defense. And we want to inspire people to know that, you know, we have jobs at Dassault Falcon Jet and many different types, as well as other aerospace and defense companies. So it's a great partnership.
You know, in today's time, when I drove in, gas was $4.50 a gallon. Thanks, Joe. $4.50 a gallon. So for you to be able to offer, you know, free admission for kids 12 and under, that can make it an affordable day.
Absolutely.
You know, which is, and give the dates. It's going to be June.
It's June 24th and 25th.
Okay. What time do the gates open on June 24th?
So on Friday, the gates will open at 4 p.m., and on Saturday, the gates will open at 10 a.m.
Okay. And one thing that's cool this year, last year, you know, you had a VIP night. That was Friday night and had the night shows and everything. Talk about the night show that people will get a chance to see, because if it's anything like last year, it's as good as the 4th of July.
Oh, well, it's like last year, but on steroids.
Yep.
That's the only way I can describe it. So the night shows, we're calling it the Twilight Show, are pretty rare. Most people don't get to see Twilight shows. And what we learned last year by doing that VIP event, that everybody wants to see that, right? And so we're offering a 2-day pass so they can come to both days and things like that. But the Friday night show, the show itself will start about 6:30. We'll do the jet truck. We'll do everybody. I mean, it's a full-blown air show Friday night. And it'll go 2.5 hours on Friday night. And we'll go completely in darkness. Nate Hammond will fly totally in darkness. It's going to be, when you tell that to pilots, they just kind of look at you going, because he'll do full acrobatics in the total dark. But while he's doing that, he's blasting out fireworks and Roman candle looking thing. Like, it's pretty cool. And then the Airshow will do their Twilight Show, and that is one of the most incredible things you'll ever witness.
Yeah, it is inspirational as well, because there is a patriotic theme, if I remember it right, to it. But I mean, it's one of those things that you do not want to miss, just simply because, for one thing, it doesn't come around every day, especially here in Arkansas. So where has this put us in the rankings? Because I know other air shows around the nation, maybe even here in the state, with this only being the second year, where are we ranked, or do they do anything like that to kind of let people know the quality of the show based upon any type ranking?
I don't know where we're ranked, but we were told last year that we were the third largest air show in the country. I don't know if that's true or not, but we have all the big names. So, and that's what blows everybody away, the size of our air show, as far as, you know, because there's basically two types of air shows. There's military and there's private, and we're a private air show, right? And so that's what they're blown away with the talent that we're bringing in, and that's what everybody across the country keeps talking about.
Okay, so it's going to be June 24th. Gates will open at 4, and then on Saturday, June 25th, gates will open at 10, and you can go to wingsoverbryant.com in order to get more information. And remember, if you have kids that are 12 and under, it is free both days. What about the vendors that are going to be there? Will people need to bring things to eat, or you got the food trucks lined up?
Food trucks and, you know, all that kind of stuff for everybody. Like we did, you know, we've got vendors for people to visit. There'll be booths. They'll be able to buy things. They'll be able to get things for free. Food trucks. We've got, I think we're at 17 food trucks.
All of it healthy food, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the good hot dogs and corn dogs, and, you know, all that kind of
Ambulance will be on standby.
We have plenty of those. We've got all that. You know, there'll be about 50 to 60 officers there per day.
Yeah.
Fire, police, medical, all that stuff.
Everything you need.
Yes, sir.
All right, so what about parking? Because, I mean, when you got that many people concentrated, so tell people about how to find the Saline County Airport. I know they can Google it, but tell them about the parking, because I know the junior high is right down the road. Are you going to have shuttle service, or what's the arrangements
We're
there?
not doing shuttle service this year because what we learned last year is that it actually clogs the traffic up and it makes it slower. And so we're actually building new gates at the airport as we speak to funnel people into the airport faster. And so our goal is to get them in very quickly. And so as soon as they turn off Reynolds Road on the Hill Farm Road, we'll control it from that point. We've hired 50 parking attendants and all this different kind of stuff, and then we'll bring them in and just follow the parking folks. That's all you'll see them.
Okay.
They'll be over there.
The one thing that people need to know is you just get off there at Bryant on the Reynolds exit, cross over, just stay on Reynolds Road. You'll come through the old downtown Bryant, and just keep coming. You'll see a big red, the second big red on your right, Dollar General, and then the airport's going to be to the left. It's right there behind the fire station, right behind the junior high.
It's 1100 Hill Farm Road.
There you go.
Is the address.
And it's not a far walk to get in there. I mean,
no.
I've been to some events where you wore out by the time you get there just because you had to walk a mile.
Yeah.
But it's not that way at all with this.
It's not like that there.
Right. Okay. All
I
right.
mean, whereas we can park the majority of the people inside the airport.
Okay.
So that's the goal.
All right. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but let's turn our attention over here to Mark and VP of Operations for Falcon Jet. So, Mark, how long have you been with Falcon?
I've been a Falcon for about 25 years.
Okay. So, but what is it got you to Arkansas anyway? Because we were talking before we went on air. This is not where you were raised. So, what got you to Arkansas?
Correct. Yeah, aerospace. So originally I joined the U.S. Air Force when I was in high school, and that brought me to Arkansas. And stayed in Arkansas. When I got out the Air Force, I started with Arkansas Modification, which is an old mod center, did corporate completions here. And then Raytheon Aircraft and British Aerospace for the Arkansas Aerospace Commuter Airlines, and then went to DESO. And so happy to be an Arkansan, happen to be in Saline County, and where the Airshow is being held, and it's a great state.
So, talk about aeronautics in Arkansas. You know, we got a really nice airport down in Saline County. There's a really nice airport up in Faulkner County. Cabot's got one. A lot of nice airports around. Of course, you got Little Rock out here. National Airport. As far as the number of industries that service the aeronautics industry itself, what are some of the spin-offs? Because I think people think of Falcon Jet, they think of just the plane, but there's a lot that contributes to going into that as far as the economic development that is branched out through subsets that feed into the overall finished product. Talk about those and anything in the way of where they're located in the state and how they contribute to the overall finished product.
Well, sure, and just within DESO Falcon Jet, there's a lot of opportunity for jobs that people don't think about. I always think about pilots, engineers, that type of thing, but we have accountants, we have HR people, we have craftsmen that are building cabinetry, we have installers, avionics technicians, mechanics. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to come to Falcon, to DESO Falcon Jet, and to do other things. But another role I play besides DESO Falcon Jet is I'm president of the Arkansas Aerospace and Defense Alliance, and we represent aerospace and defense in the state of Arkansas and promote that, and we try to be the voice of aerospace and defense for the state. We have, in the state, we have over 12,000 jobs that are in aerospace and defense. There's over 200 companies within the state of Arkansas. And they supply things not only to DESO, but to Boeing, to a lot of other companies not in the state and globally. And so aerospace and defense is a key element of the state of Arkansas. It's actually the largest export out of the state. And so it's not only good for the state, but it's good for the country.
When you look at the economy that we've got going on in the world, the ripple effect, how safe and secure is the aeronautic industry in Arkansas, given the instability around the world, and you see things that are happening? Okay. Do we go deep or are we shallow?
So, when defense-wise, it's
Pretty deep.
it's pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
so those guys have lots of opportunities. Aerospace, we're seeing solid things as well. So, I think we have a bright future. I think, the times are a little bit difficult now. It's hitting people a little bit differently with the economy and such. Probably the biggest thing that we're dealing with is supply chain difficulties. And those supply chains for all of us come from around the world and within the states. So that's probably the biggest challenge that we have today in the industry is the supply chain and finding people who's going to be the next workforce for us.
And so let's talk about workforce for a second, because what would you say to somebody that's interested in getting into it? And I know you mentioned a while ago, you got cabinet builders, you've got upholstery, you've got, painters, you got sheet metal, you got mechanics, so such a variety. What do you say to somebody that would be interested in getting into it, where they need to start or where they need to go to get started to get to a skill set that would be marketable to you as a company, that you'd be willing to hire them? Is that going to be through a CTE center? Is that something you're going to train them as long as they are breathing, show up on time, and pass a drug test? Or how's that work that if somebody's interested in getting into that?
Well, first thing I would say, first know that it's possible. Again, aerospace and defense can sound, scary to people. It sounds like, oh, I can't do that.
Like going to the moon kind of concept.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about pilots and engineers. That we do need that, but we need all the other workforce as well. So first, know that it's possible. Second, you can go to our website and look at our careers opportunities, and you can see all the different things that are available there. The other is just what you said, go to the Pulaski Techs, the career development centers, the high school trades. That's something we've been weak on now. Where I grew up in northern Illinois was Big Farm and Manufacturing Center. And all the high schools had shop, wood shop, metal shop, mechanical engineering, drafting, all that kind of thing to support the industry. And we need that here in the state. We need to have the high schools providing that. We need the career centers that do that. And they don't need to necessarily teach aerospace how to do stress analysis for a wing. They need the basic skills. How to be able to use hand tools, how to be able to measure, how to be able to show up to work on time, and have the integrity of the normal aptitude and intelligence to be able to go do basic things. And if they have that, then they can come in and we can help teach that. We can specialize them. If say they build houses, did cabinetry work in houses, well, we can bring them in with those skill sets and aptitude, and we can train them how to build cabinets for our aircraft. And so people need to realize that, if they have the aptitude to do mechanical things, they work on cars, they work on houses, do woodworking, they can come and with apprentice program, and we can help train them and bring them up to speed to what we do.
How many people could you use right now, if you don't mind, or is that proprietary? You'd rather not say?
We need quite a few people, and we're looking for, again, all trades. We're looking for engineers, we're looking for HR people, we're looking for warehouse people, engineers, the whole gauntlet. And so we have a lot of opportunities out there today, and we have a lot of opportunities for the future.
Kind of like Field of Dreams. Send them and you'll put them to work.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, that's the whole point of the air show, because it's to highlight our aviation industry, because it is our largest export. Daniel Falcon Jet is our largest employer in that field, and that's why we were able to partner up. That's why we approach each other. That's why we talk to each other. That's why the Defense Alliance is so important to us, because we want to be able to represent all of that at the air show and highlight. Because you ask anybody, well, I shouldn't say anybody, you ask most people in the state of Arkansas what our largest export is, they're going to tell you rice.
Yeah.
They don't realize it's aviation. And it's important that we shine light on that, because our high school kids and our kids, they don't know that they can get really good jobs straight out of high school. They don't have to. They go into trades instead of going to college. Not assume that debt for college, and get really well-paying jobs right here in our state, 20 minutes from home, if they go to work for Falcon. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, and that's the whole point. We're trying to make it go full circle.
That's a parent's dream is what that is. You got a place to go to work, son. You got a house. Speaking to the magnitude of aeronautics in the state, what do we lack, or what do we have room to improve on that would allow us to have an even bigger footprint? And how well does Arkansas know it? Now, I know, the governor's gone over to the air shows and gone over to overseas to, try to recruit and bring in, businesses. But give us a snapshot for Arkansas. Are we a major player in the world? Are we just a blip on the screen? Are we an up and rising star? Or what's our image in the world as far as Arkansas with regards to aeronautics?
Well, I think Arkansas has a good reputation for people that are committed and work well. And so I think that's something that it's very important for a lot of businesses, not just aerospace and defense, but all businesses that are coming into the state, a good workforce. And so we have good people here. We have, but we have to work on being able to educate them. As I was saying earlier, we've got to have a good supply chain to educate people and bring them on board into the various companies. We've been in the state of Arkansas for many years. The history of our company goes back to the first propeller that our founder developed all the way through FedEx, which is one of the reasons that we're here in Arkansas. And so all these companies that we have within the state that are producing parts for Airbus, for Boeing, that's global. Our product that we make goes around the world. We're literally around the globe with our product. And so Arkansas is known for the completion of our airplanes, and it's known for these other products that are coming out here. So that it has a good reputation.
All right, got to take a break. Let's do just a couple cleanup details here. One, you can go to my website, which is thekimhammershow.com, and we'll have the information that we're sharing with regards to dates and times and things such as that. Also, you can keep up with other means of social media that I've got out there, but that's the starting point. The dates for the Wings over Bryant is June 24th. The gates open at 4 o'clock that Friday evening, 12 and under, thanks to Falcon Jet. 12 and under will be able to get in free, and that also carries over to Saturday, June 25th, of which the gates open at 10 o'clock. If you want information specifically or communicate, go to wingsoverbryant.com, wingsoverbryant.com. And if they're interested in looking for employment, Mark, what's the website out there at Falcon?
They can go to DesoFalconJet.com and look under the career section.
Okay, Deso.
Falconjet.
falconjet.com and look up underneath there. So there's just some key information to keep in mind. We're going to take a break here on the Kim Hammer Show. When we come back, I'm going to ask you these two questions so you can get started at it. What more can we be doing as a state in order to expand it specifically? I know we've got good workforce. And then the second thing is, take an airport like Saline County Airport, the size that it is. How can we be a player? How could any airport the size of like Saline County or even up there in Faulkner County, how can we be a player, or how can we expand our capabilities utilizing that as an anchor to grow the industry? We'll come back to the Kim Hammer Show after the break. Welcome back to the Kim Hammer Show. Today, my guests are Mark Bremer, who is Vice President of Operations for Falcon Jet, and also I have Jason Brown, who's the President of the Bryant Chamber of Commerce. And let me just stop and say, if you haven't seen the commercial that Jason and others are starring in, how can they find that little commercial y'all put out? And who was it put that commercial? Give them a free plug.
It's D&T Media.
D&Z?
D&T Media.
D&T. Okay, so where could people go to see that little
It's
commercial?
mainly on social media.
Okay.
Because it was too long to put on TV, but it was too good to shorten it down. So
Yeah.
we all got a kick out of making that. I mean, we have pretty good stars in there, like Scott Emmons in there with us. We got Roger Scott. You know, there's some pretty good people in there with us.
Yeah, you got some Hollywood stars in that one,
Shane
man.
Broadway's in there.
Yeah, with his classic "What are you doing?" look, you know. So I love the slow motion run to the Big Red, you know, and just
Chariots of
classic.
Fire. You know what I mean? Chariots of Fire.
Yeah, did y'all actually run all the way from the conference room to the Big Red?
Absolutely. Look at me, Kim. You think I'm gonna run that?
You made it look good, man. I mean, I'm saying
That's why
that's a mile run.
Media is the best at what they do, because they can make this look like it ran from the airport to the...
You were a lean, mean running machine, buddy.
That's
Let me
right.
tell you, and you weren't even turning red
I
or
wasn't.
nothing.
I
You know,
wasn't.
You
It was
walked in the
good.
store, you weren't sucking air, nothing, man.
was not.
So have you got that commercial on your website, or could you put it where they could go look at it?
We can probably get up on the website, but it's on our social media pages.
Okay.
And it's just, people are loving it. It's kind
Okay.
of funny.
All right, social media pages being just...
Wings Over Bryant.
Okay, Wings Over Bryant. So,
Facebook, Instagram.
all right. I'm going to tell y'all, it's worth going up and look. It is a truly good commercial and brings a little humor to the situation. Well, maybe a lot of humor.
And we try to bring everybody that's like very, like, this helps out a lot with it. We got Annabelle, our vice coordinator, she's in there.
Bo Niddle's in there.
Carla West, Bo Niddle's in there. Sherry Platt, all these people are very inspirational to the air show and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
they work behind the scenes and help design things and stuff like that. And got David Roberts, a board member. These just.
Do you have RJ in there?
No, he wasn't able to come that day.
Okay, all right. Should have been. He's,
Oh, yeah,
he's
he
been
was
real
in there.
instrumental in it. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, great commercial. You need to go watch it. It'll be a classic that may make, you might get an Emmy award off it or something
I
like that.
kind of
I don't
doubt
know.
that, but
Well, you know his dream. Speaking of dreaming, what more can we do? Mark, tell us, if you could be king for a day of Arkansas, what more can we be doing besides getting the skilled workforce, the things you talked about a while ago? Is there anything else that we need to be focusing on?
I think we as parents need to tell our children that finding a good career in aerospace and defense is a great thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean that every kid needs to go to college. Yes, we need an education, but it doesn't mean that they need to go get a 4-year degree. There's good jobs here with good skill sets mechanically, and if we can get parents to say, hey, I don't know if you've had a plumber come to your house lately, but it's really expensive. So, so the plumbers, the trades, they make good money, and it's the same with what we're doing. We have excellent benefits. We have excellent environment to work, and they have a future. And it's not just a job; it's a career. And so, first, parents, we all need to say, hey, it's okay if your kid goes to a 2-year school or goes to some sort of career center and gets the basic trades to come to work. Second, we need to continue working with the high schools to promote that as well. I understand that the high schools in Saline County are good and supportive of that. We have the Career Center that's coming board. So if we can use that network in all the communities to grow and have a way, a pathway for young kids and people that are underemployed, that they can work their way up and do other things. So having that awareness, the Airshow is a perfect opportunity to present this and showcase that, which is why we're part of this. Since I was a kid, every time I heard an airplane, the first thing I did is my head went up, right? I've always been intrigued by that. But when I was a kid, I grew up in a small community. I didn't know aerospace could be a thing. Joining the Air Force led me to this. So, having the awareness, the Air Show, parents having things in the community where people know that these jobs are available, I think is really the key.
Have you ever explored going, you talk about high school, but in reality, have you ever explored going down to like the elementary school age and anything that would maybe be utilized through the schools, even churches, that anywhere you got a concentration of kids, in order to plant that seed, that idea, and try to start it younger instead of waiting to high school? Anything ever been done either here in state or elsewhere that
I'm
would
not
create
aware
that
of that, other
excitement?
than this first step, what we're doing here for the kids under 12 free. I'm not really aware of us doing it. We have been trying to get down from high school to junior high and to plant those seeds, but yeah, I think if we could plant seeds in the younger ages like we're doing with the Airshow, I think that's a great opportunity.
So they can be Falcon kids 12 and under at the Airshow,
That's
which is a
right.
pretty cool title. Somebody was creative on that one. Let me ask you this. Take an airport the size of Bryant. We're not a Little Rock National Airport, but we got a good-sized airport, and Faulkner County's got a good-sized one. Cabot's got a good-sized one. I drove up the other day had to go up to Booneville to the Human Development Center and tour it, and had a committee meeting up there, and that one that's just out, I can't remember, it's on the outside of Ola, or going up there. Little airports, that maybe our runway capacity is what, 5,000?
5,001.
5,001.
And that 1 foot's very important.
It is. It gets you, well, and go ahead, people don't understand that. Go ahead and tell them why 1 foot on a runway is important.
It's mainly because of search. When they search runways, that extra 1 foot will actually come up higher on a search, believe it or not. I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah. What does it take for the size planes that can land out there? What size planes?
We can do everything up to like the big jets. So when I say big jets, we can't do like the commercial jets and things like that. But everything else down, we can.
Can you land a Falcon jet out there?
We can.
Hint. So
We can.
Okay.
You know, fighter jets can't land there though.
How much more do they need?
They need 6,000 feet. And I looked at them, I said, well, y'all land on aircraft carriers. And they went, well, we'll have a cable attached to us. I was like, oh.
We'll put a rope out there.
I said, I'm not doing hang on a rope.
Hey, what's that plane dragging down the runway? Oh, that's just Jason. Just bouncing down the runway, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got the 6,000 is the next ideal goal to
It
get
is.
to. So for airport that's 5,001 foot, is there anything that an airport like that could do that could contribute to a feeder into like a Falcon jet or even into any of the other aeronautic industry?
Well, the footprint around the airport is important to what companies can come there, right? So you have to have the good footprint for that, I think. You also need to talk to the pilots and say, what's going to draw people to want to bring their airplanes there? And that can be maintenance activity, that can be a restaurant, can be various things, fuel. Yeah, so those are the key factors, and also what does the community have that brings people there?
The amenities.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it does come to an airport, what are some of the things that the pilots look for that, like I've even thought about rental car service. I think we've got arrangements out there for that. So what are the things that would make it a destination point for somebody? Obviously, it's going to be an event, maybe like an air show or something in the community. But in fact, last year, what was the deal last year where they were flying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a cross-country race or something.
Oh, no, that was in 2018, and that's where I got the idea for the air show.
Okay.
That's where it all stemmed from. The Air Race Classic was all the female races from Mississippi, I believe, all the way to, like, almost the Canadian border. They flew all over. It was kind of cool. We were one of their stops.
Yeah. I remember them coming in. They didn't stay long, but they came in and hit and went. So any other advice you could give to a community that has an airport as far as things they could do to enhance their footprint?
Well, I think services, what we talked, having fuel at a good price, having a secure area where you can park your aircraft, whether that's covered in a hangar or on the ramp, but being secure and safe. Having the ability to get in and out of the airport. So you talk about having rental cars. That's key, because once they land, how do they get to and fro? And then, again, restaurants, having services there that support their ability to come in and out of the airport.
All right. Anything else you want to share about the air show itself, Jason?
I need to come go to the website, check everything out. All our tickets are paperless this year, So you need to purchase your tickets online or go to the Big Red stores. You get a extra discount if you go inside the Big Red stores and use the QR code. You'll see a cutout of Roger Scott standing in there. Just zap that with your phone. Scan.
Well, that's not what Roger called it. What Roger?
Scan the ticket thingy.
That thingy. That ticket thingy.
Yeah, that's what the commercial is talking about. We just want everybody out and enjoy the show and learn about aviation. That's the whole thing about this. We want people to get excited about aviation.
Yeah. And the thing, too, remember, it is family-friendly. The kids, it's something the kids will enjoy. It's not just watching planes fly around with all the events and all the skill deck.
We've got something for everybody. We've got a VIP tent. We have an overlook parking pass, which means it's literally you park on top of a hill and watch the air show. It's kind of like a tailgate. It's Altman's Hill is what we're calling it. And then we've got a huge kids area. The Midtown Mechanical is our partner with that. It's something for everybody. We got stag displays. There's something to do all day long. It's not just the air show itself. You can come and enjoy the whole day.
Very good. Mark, anything about Falcon you want to say? Or about the industry?
Just happy that we're able to partner with Wings Over Bryant. I'm going to be bringing my granddaughter to it. I want people to know that it's possible when they come out there to see the airplanes and be inspired by it, know that there's jobs here available locally here with us, and please come out, have fun, and think about on Monday about going to our website and come work for us.
So you're going to have a booth out there that people could come by and see?
We are. We plan to have a booth. We plan to have our DESO logo that little kids can put on their cheek as a tattoo, and
Well, branding kids with Falcon
Falcon Kids, Falcon brand.
plant the seeds for Falcon kids. Yeah.
Are they like permanent tattoos?
No. They're fun kids tattoos.
Oh, you come get a job, we'll take it off. Well, then you got to wear them in. So that's what it's going to be. Well, I'll have a booth out there. I'll have my inflatable hammers to give away to the kids.
Look at all those hammers.
Yeah, I know there'll be a few fights with them, but anyway, we're going to have a good time out there. So I just really encourage you, June 24th and June 25th. Starts at 4 o'clock on June 24th. And I would encourage you, I went last year, and the nighttime air show is cool. I mean, it's second to none, man.
It is one of the most fascinating things you'll ever see.
Yeah, and we brought some of our grandkids last year, and they were just talked about it for days, which is good for the industry. They just talked about it for days. So encourage you to bring your kids, your grandkids, and then go up to the website, Wings Over Bryant, and also catch that little commercial. One of these days, Jason will be on the big screen and those other ones. I saw a reality TV show in the making when I saw that. So
I don't think so. I'm not an actor.
yeah, you're going to be out there, Duck Dynasty. So, anyway. All right, Mark, thank you for being in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to Falcon Jet for being such a huge impact to our economy here in the state and all those that serve in the aero industry. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to shift gears. To wrap up the show, I've got Daniel Shults, who has called in online. Daniel, thank you for taking a few minutes to join me here on the Kim Hammer Show.
Well, thank you, Senator. Good afternoon.
Daniel, give me your title for the record, just so they know or remember in case they didn't tune in a couple of weeks ago what your title is.
I serve as director for the State Board of Election Commissioners.
All right. Last time I had you on the show, we talked about how good things had went, and honestly, things have really gone well given the magnitude of the size of the turnout, one of the biggest turnouts in the state as far as election is concerned. But then there was a little bubble up in the county, and what I thought would be good is if you just came on and just kind of give us an update to the level that you can of where things are now that we're a couple weeks past the election. I know we still got a few primaries out there. They're going to be on the 21st, I believe, is the day. If you got a primary going on in your area, whether it's for a local race, I know there's some state races as far as senators and reps. You need to put that on your calendar and get out and vote. It is as important as the original day to vote to get out in the runoff and vote in that. So to the level that you can, just kind of give us an update of where we are now post 3 weeks election day.
Well, thank you, Senator. As you said, the election was certified last Friday, so we are, and certification happens a couple weeks, about a week and a half after the actual election itself. We do have, I think, about 40 counties that have a runoff, so we have that going on. There was I think the issue you asked me to address was in Crawford County. There was a very tight race for the nomination Republican nomination for, I believe it's House District 25. And in that, there were some issues that the preliminary reports indicated there were some procedural problems as far as handling some ballots that couldn't be read through the tabulator and had to be duplicated. And that procedural problem has led to a lot of concern. A couple things I want to say about that. One, the procedures are important. The procedures are the guardrails to protect the process, and we are taking those seriously, and this agency will certainly be investigating and looking into what happened and taking all appropriate action. We did also send an observer up to the recount. It seems, based on the report I received, that the counting of the ballots as they are cast was very correctly done, that there was no issue as far as the vote count. It is a tight race, but I think the count is accurate. So we will be investigating as far as any the degree which their state laws were perhaps not followed as closely as they needed to be. And of course, candidates have the option to go into court if they believe the outcome of the election is incorrect and challenge the election. And so I know there's lots of talented candidates and talented lawyers in that case, so they have the chance to pursue that if they think that is necessary.
How long do they have until it could be taken into court and that window of opportunity is gone? Because that race has already been certified, correct?
It was certified on Friday, and they would have 20 days from Friday.
Okay.
Friday of last week.
Okay.
Not yesterday, but a week from yesterday.
All right. To the level you can talk about it, because I understand you got some guardrails around you that you probably don't need to say something, or maybe can or can't say something. Regarding some of the specific issues with that county up there, is there anything you can talk about with regards to ballots that were taken home, or
the preliminary reports and what was reported in the media and what was our observers heard discussed when we were there was that there were a set of ballots that, because there was an early issue with the programming that caused a correction, some very early absentee ballots, as I understand it, couldn't be read. The votes cast on those ballots were transferred into a ballot that could be read. There's a process under the law to do that, and that it was the ballot that was the second version that could be read was put into the area where ballots are securely stored in the county, and for some reason the ballots that had been duplicated, that are now the original ballots that are not going to be counted, the duplicate ballots counted in the original ballot stead, those original ballots were apparently taken out of the county facility for a time, and those would be the procedural, one of the procedural concerns which we definitely want to address. But those ballots that were taken home were never going to be counted at that point. They were an election document, but they were no longer the official ballot to be tabulated. Then again, those are the preliminary reports that we received.
Which had no outcome, which had no bearing on the outcome of the election.
Right. At the time those ballots were removed from the county facility, they were no longer the ballot to be counted. They were now an artifact of the original ballot, or an artifact of the voters' ballot that is retained, but no longer is it going to be counted. So it's important that there are lots of rules. The election law book sitting here beside me, and it's about 3 inches thick. They're all important. Sometimes it's a challenge that every single one be executed correctly, because we have elections that are run by and essentially volunteers in Arkansas. And I don't mean to say I mean that is a compliment, not a criticism. They're people who give of their time to serve their community in the role of an election official, but there's a lot to do, and there are a lot to ask of them, and it's all important. So this is one of those instances where we seem to have had some procedural issues. If any, at this point, I'm not aware of anything that would indicate a impact on the vote count. That would be a very, very important thing. And if this, in this case, or any other case, a person believes that election law wasn't violated, they should contact the state board. And as I said, we will certainly be looking into this issue. But from the preliminary reports, it appears to be an issue with following procedures, but and those policies set out in the law, but not one which would impact the outcome of the election based on the information I have at this time.
And to your point about the volunteers, we are very appreciative of all the volunteers, because without volunteers, either we may still be able to vote, but it would be certainly a much longer, drawn-out process that would have made it more difficult to vote. One of the, and so we understand there are things that are going to happen that are just simple mistakes. They're just oversights. There's nothing intentional or fraudulent about it. It's just human error, which you're always going to have that. Anytime you got humans hanging around, you're going to have that. So I agree with you. We want to express to our volunteers how much we appreciate them, and also all the training that you get the credit for, I think, as far as going out and training people this year to get the educational component of how the election process works and things that need to be done. So I think that we have really put forth an effort to make sure that our elections here in Arkansas, anyway, are as secure and pure as they can be. That being said, any other issues hanging out there that you are at liberty to talk about, with regards to other issues in other counties or races?
Well, there are always issues, and that's why I encourage people, if they have any concerns as far as their voting experience, they can contact the state board. They can do that at our website, which is arkansas.gov/SBEC. They can call us at 800-411-6996. But I can say one of the things we were concerned about was redistricting. People, essentially what I mean by that is the lines changed, and are people going to get the right ballots? There was a few instances of that, but not so many as we were concerned might happen, given the fact that the feds put us almost a year behind the redistricting process, and really put both the legislature and all the levels of county and municipal government under a real time crunch to get redistricting done, and really put a burden on our clerks to get those ballot assignments correctly entered. And that was the big problem we were concerned about and ultimately did not see. As I think you and your listeners likely know, there were a few issues as far as ballot, errors on the ballot. That's something, unfortunately, we always have some degree of, and I think we have some ideas on how to maybe stream, something we're going to work with you on to help the counties both avoid and then quickly mitigate ballot errors as they are identified. So that's one area, but there are lots of moving parts, and I feel like that at a holistic level, this election was a success. And I encourage anyone who has a concern that they think needs to be addressed, if they reach out to us, they can file a complaint, and we will look into it. So that's an important part of the oversight procedure that we have.
Give us that 800 number again. What was it?
It is 800-411-6996.
Okay, 800-411-6996. I'll get Elizabeth to put that up on my website, thekimhammershow.com. So if you have any concerns or, reflection back, we'd rather you call, honestly. Daniel may not, but I do. I'd rather you call.
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, we want you to call, because we are constantly looking at how we can make the system better, but also if there is anything fraudulent or illegal or, that is being done to, rob you of your vote, we want to make sure that we get it right. So there's always going to be tweaks that are required to law. I want to go back to one thing that you just said that people need to understand, and that is that the Joe Biden administration, Democrat Joe Biden, held up getting the numbers from the census for over a year, which directly impacted our ability to do the redistricting and had a trickle-down effect all the way to our ability to do things that we needed to do to get the vote out. And people need to remember that, and especially as you get ready to go to the polls this fall. We've had the biggest turnout historically that we may have ever had for the state, if not one of the biggest. It certainly is up there at the top, which means that voters are motivated to get out to vote, and they want to take back that which has been taken away in our liberties and in other areas as well. So we are trying to make sure here in the state of Arkansas to give you the safest and the most confident ability to vote, knowing that your vote will count. And if there are things that happen, which there are always going to be things that happen, Daniel, I want to thank you and your team because I know you guys got on it quick when you found out about it. You are the authority to go in and do the investigation, and you didn't drag your feet. You went in there and you took care of business in a very nonpartisan way, and I want to commend you for that. But remember this, a lot of the time delay was the result of Democrat Joe Biden holding those numbers after the census, which just put us all in a crunch. And hopefully everybody will remember that, along with the other growing list of things you need to remember when we come to the elections in the fall. All right, Daniel, I got about 1 minute. Anything you want to say?
I appreciate what you said, both regarding my team and regarding all the election officials in Arkansas. And that's it really brings up, I think, a good point to end on. If this is an issue that concerns you, if you're concerned about good elections, get involved. I mean, if there's elections are running at the local level, if you'd like to be involved, reach out to your county election commissioner, your county clerk, and look into becoming an election official. It's very important. We always need them. That's how it works.
Very good. And if you're interested, you don't know how to, send me a message on the KimHammerShow.com website. I'll be glad to get you connected. I got to wrap it up. Heidi's giving me the look that we got to get this plane on the ground, as we started the show off with, to talk about the planes at the Bryant Airshow, Wings Over Bryant, June 24th, June 25th. Go up to their website. I will tell you, it is a great event to attend. It's a family-friendly event, a lot of security, a lot of bathrooms, a lot of truck vendors, and a lot of free stuff for the kids and everybody else, and one heck of an air show that you'll be glad that you came and saw. There at the Bryant Airport in Bryant. Thanks for joining me here today on the Kim Hammer Show. I've got a great lineup for the next 3 weeks. I'm actually going to have Dr. Jensen, Scott Jensen from Minnesota, just wrote a book, and he's going to come on, and I'm going to interview him, so you just keep watching, keep listening, and I'll see you back on the Kim Hammer Show. Have a great day.